Hi guys, my name is Jesse, and I'm going to be talking to you about our co-teaching implementation of instruction for this group of students. I'm going to be going through a few different variables and a few different topics here when I go through each student based on their disability. Going off my little cheat sheet here. So as an assisting education professional, I would try to get on page with the main teacher of the room and basically start talking about the universal design for learning. So the UDL would be the first thing that I would want to use. That would be the number one framework. It lets us plan lessons for work that everyone's right from the start. So I mean, it's based on each kid. It's a universal design for each kid. With Ryan, who has Down syndrome, and Siobhan with a mild intellectual disability, and Zoshil with dyslexia, and Russell with emotional and behavioral disorder, they all learn differently. So the universal design helps it keep flexible, keeps it readily available. Learning could take place in different paths. It's just as long as the actual process is getting done. It also fits perfectly with co-teaching because it naturally builds in options and scaffolding for the rest of the paraprofessionals. Activities to build on higher orders of thinking would be a mystery sorting challenge. The kids could rotate through simple stations. We have reading rotations, science rotations, math rotations, different rotations based on the topic set up. They sort pictures, words, shapes, or short scenarios into groups. Then they could explain why they grouped things in the higher risking order. That is the higher risking order part of things, where they could actually say why they did it, what they did. They could do it at their own level without feeling frustrated, which is huge, especially in this type of field. I have mainly high school kids, but this is dealing with the younger kids, which some of the behaviors could be worse, just less mitigated. Strategy and accommodations I would use is visual support and chunking. Chunking things is huge. I chunk things on a daily basis, whether that means cutting pieces of page just so they could see a few problems, just so it's less stress. You know, they're not anticipating like a huge paper to actually do. They're working on one or two problems at a time. So pictures, color coding, example cards, clear step-by-step instructions. That is one thing that is clear. Step by step, so there's not any behaviors and people are not getting overwhelmed. The visual supports and chunking would help Siobhan and Ryan. Actually, it helps Ryan understanding the task and helps Siobhan and Zoshil decoding support and keeps everyone grounded. My other strategy I could use would be having behavior supports with predictability. You know, a simple visual schedule for starting rotation, just so that no one's overwhelmed. Timers so transitions aren't surprising. 5 minute, I used to like to give 5 minute time breakdowns before the next rotation. Quick cool down break spot for Russell because he gets overwhelmed. Maybe a cool down corner or a calming corner. Keeps the whole lesson moving smoothly. And that's key because it's moving smoothly and there are not any breaks, which is giving attitudes or behaviors a time to manifest. I adjusted for online, hybrid, or multi-ages being online or blended. I'd make a sorting activity digital on Google Slides. Keep stations shorter to avoid screen overload. We know how that could affect kids, especially at this time and age. You know, let students record explanations on Flip or another video tool instead of typing. They are more likely to be up with that up-to-date technology than the older crew. And you could build leveling options. Younger kids started pictures, older kids explain rules, basically based on the age and mentality. And as far as the behavior supports, that also goes into it too. So basically the the UDLs stay the same, and we just switch to tech and shorter chunking. Technology tools I'd like to use, as I mentioned before, Google Slides, great for dragging and dropping, easy to add pictures, audio directions, and color coding. Flip was something that I used to use in the past with former students. They could explain their thinking verbally. That helps me. I would rather explain my thinking verbally. Sometimes on paper, it's not coming down what it should come down. It's perfect also for kids who struggle with reading and writing, but and they like to talk through the ideas. That's a mental block a lot of students have, which again, I see it in a lot of staff as well. It's very low pressure because Russell needs privacy, so it could help him out in that regard. But in short, I believe UDL's, University Design of Learning, would be the framework I would use for these students, just in different variables and different settings. Thank you.